I do want to point out, I have 5 various factors that affect the modern marriage and why we are seeing a trend in divorce. And you want to stay to the end so that you can avoid these 5 potential pitfalls that can have you in divorce court. What's up, guys, and welcome back to the Black Box. I am Samuel Smiley, and I cannot wait to get into this show with you. But before I do, I need you to do me a favor. I need you to look yourself in the mirror, not while you're doing this, but later, and ask yourself, is divorce trending, and am I going to be another statistic of divorce? I don't know. We'll get into it. But I need you to do me a favor. Before we do that, I need you to hit that like and subscribe button if you haven't already. I see a lot of you guys watching this video and even commenting, but I haven't seen the subscribes go up. So if you don't mind, you beautiful 500 or 600 followers, let's get this to 700. And hopefully in just a little bit, we can get it to 1,000. Wouldn't that be awesome? I think it would be. Definitely share this video, but let's get into this. So country star Zach Brown and his wife, Kelly Yazdi, are divorcing after 4 months of marriage. Now, why am I talking about this? Because I'm starting to think that this is a trend. Not so much that a lot of people are getting a divorce, though some people say they are, and people will say, well, you know, it's 50% chance of marriage, which actually has been debunked. It's more so about 35 to 40%. That is still really terrible. And your chances of a long marriage, we'll talk about success in a different way, is, you know, debatable if that's worth it for you. And you have to decide that for yourself. What I believe is a trend is these marriages, not just from celebrities, but just from anyone who gets in a marriage and they just go, oh, I'm out. You don't want to do what I want to do. I don't want to do what you want to do. We don't work out. We're not going in the same path. We're not figuring it out. We're not doing life together. When did we start doing this? You say these vows in front of your folks, in front of your family, even in the courthouse, in front of God, and you're like, we're going to do this till death do us part. And even that, people are not even saying these vows anymore. And I have even heard it said that people don't even say some of the traditional values within a vow, such as till death do us part, for better or worse, sickness and in health. And I'm like, wow, why would you want to take that out? I know exactly why you want to take that out, because it makes it easier to get out of the marriage. But also it just made me think, I'm like, okay, if they were married only 4 months before splitting up and then she started unfollowing him on Instagram and all this stuff, one, does it mean that something happened in the marriage? But also then it goes to say, okay, even if something did happen in the marriage, what did you sign up for? You knew this person was a human being. You also knew he was previously married for 12 years with another woman and has 5 kids. So it makes me wonder, like, are you actually thinking about the person you're marrying? And also it makes me think the statistics continue about people who get their second and third marriage is even harder. You know, he gave it another try. She's 32 years old, and I believe he's 45 years old. And so there's an age gap there, but you can't say that's the reason that this happened. It makes me wonder how long they dated. It makes me wonder what the dynamics of that relationship was. What the heck happened in this situation? And we may never find out, or we may only get glimpses of it. But guys, I do want to point out, I have 5 various factors that affect the modern marriage and why we are seeing a trend in divorce. And you want to stay to the end so that you can avoid these 5 potential pitfalls that can have you in divorce court. But before we even get into what those 5 are, I definitely want to show you this beautiful elderly couple who has stood the test of time. And I think they've been married for 65 beautiful years. And you can tell they've probably been through things as they should, because they're 2 human beings trying to grow and love each other. Nevertheless, they made it work. And that's what I want to show you. Let's check this out real quick.
You know that 1 out of 2 marriages end in divorce? 1 out of every 2 marriages, 50% of people get divorced.
Where?
I don't.
In the United States of America. It does not exist anywhere else. It exists, but not the way it exists here. It's so easy. They have an argument.
Yeah.
Let's get divorced.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. Work it out.
They split.
We
that's
did
it.
work out for 65 years.
No regrets?
No regret.
No regret.
No regret.
Mwah.
Mwah. Look at that beautiful couple. God bless you guys. Man, that is amazing. 65 years. Now, I'm not married yet, but I am going to get married. And I don't know if I'll get to 65. It depends on how long I'm able to live. And I hope I am able to live for that long. What did they give us? What was the nugget that they said at the end? You have an argument and they just quit. They just give up. They just walk out. You just work it out. And here's the thing. It is a choice, guys. It is a choice to work it out. Number 1 reason why we're influenced to get divorced is media influence. Popular culture and media often portray divorce as a common resolution to marital problems, potentially normalizing it. You think about that and you go, how many times have I heard about people getting divorced online? Oh, you know what? I've actually seen it a lot. Well, where have I seen this from? Well, I've seen it on TikTok. I've seen it on Instagram, YouTube, websites, People Magazine, TMZ. We are being inundated with this information. And on top of that, no one is saying, hey guys, before you go to divorce court, that should be the last solution. It's not even a solution, but that should be the last choice that you'd make. And what each state should have is a laundry list of different solutions that they can provide you to say, hey guys, this is not the way, especially when you have kids involved, which, I mean, people don't talk about the importance of what happens. And I've always heard the arguments, well, you know, it's bad for the kids when the parents are fighting about. It's like, no one's saying that they should be fighting in front of the kids. What I am saying is that you truly damage those kids and you damage further adults later by your behavior or lack thereof. Anyway, that's just what I'm thinking, but I'm also seeing it play out. Number 2, a changing in social norms. This study shows that societal attitudes towards marriage and divorce have evolved with less stigma now associated with ending a marriage. You may say, well, that's okay. I don't want to be shamed, but maybe a little shame is good. Maybe you should be reminded that, hey, or at least at the front of it's like, are you sure you want to get married? Are you sure? Are you positive? Like, don't become another statistic. Don't waste somebody's time. If you're going to do this, don't make me get dressed, give you guys a bunch of money to go on a honeymoon, only for you to call it quits, because it's going to be hard. That's everything in life. If you're quitting at everything in life, guys, you are called a loser. That is it. You're forfeiting your marriage. If you forfeit in this life, you don't get what's on the other end. You have to stick through it. You have to work together and you have to communicate. You have to make sure you're budgeting your money well. And you have to make sure that you're having sex and that you're having fun and that you're traveling and that you are preparing a life and not just doing it willy-nilly, which is so crazy to me. But also I believe that this change in social norms doesn't start in marriage. I believe it starts when you're dating. We have this culture where everyone is so disposable. And it's like, that's the other thing with social media. It allows you to believe that there's a bunch of fish in the sea. But I got news for you. All that fish ain't fish. Some of it's just plastic, quite literally. Plastic. And so you're dating somebody thinking that you're getting something good when all you're dealing with is a bottle cap, or you're dealing with a soda bottle and you're wondering, well, what the heck is this? I thought you were this and I thought you were that. Well, they changed on me all of a sudden. It's like, no, they were never that in the first place. They were fake, fugazi, fake, phony. It was faux love. It wasn't real. And so because you have this happening all the time, it's building within us what I call the buffet mentality. And porn does the same thing. It gives you all these variations and categories in this litany of things that you can see. And you're like, oh, I want to try this. I want to try this. I want to try this. And then what you end up with is this mechanical behavior within yourself where you can never be satisfied, or you can never be content, or you can never work out with what you have. And everything is depreciated and you can't value anything, including the person that you're with. Let's continue though. Number 3 is the increased independence. We know about this word. Greater financial and social independence, especially among women, may contribute to a higher rate of divorces. Why is this? And they've done this in studies. Sometimes when women make more money, what is happening is they may devalue their partner, or they may go, well, I make this money. You can't tell me what to do. And it's not so much that someone's trying to tell them what to do. What they're trying to say is, hey, we have to have some type of order. You can't have 2 alphas. And I don't mean the alphas in the way modern term we say it now, but you can't have 2 leaders leading at the same time. There are certain things where the wife needs to lead. There's certain things that the husband needs to lead. There's certain things that the mom needs to lead, and certain things that the father needs to lead in. And when you have 2 people fighting for that same position, fighting for that same control, and if you don't think there's control in a relationship, then you're not awake, and maybe you're just not in one. But when you have that happening, these 2 people cannot function together. But finances specifically plays a major role in this, because when all of a sudden when you go, well, oh, I don't need this person. It's like, if you only need them for financial stability, then you're looking at them wrong. You're misjudging and mischaracterizing how you should value them. And that's not actually love anyway. But of course, we do know that primary to our species, it is important for women to feel some stability and security. We completely understand that. But again, if that is the main reason why you value a man, and if you make decent money, he is now disposable and you don't care, that is really unfortunate. And you're missing the whole point. And then, yes, you will be headed for divorce. It is just a fact. But if you can say, hey, we make money, it's our money, let's focus, let's get our vision together and go in this direction with our money, you're going to do just fine. Number 4, shift in values. There's a growing focus on individuals' fulfillment and happiness, which might lead to unsatisfying marriages. And that makes complete sense. I just put out a video just a couple weeks ago where this lady divorced her husband after 4 years because she said, I outgrew my husband. And it's like, hold up. What do you mean you outgrew your husband? And even in this case, this couple, it could be a situation where it's like, well, we have different channels and different ways that we want to go. And he wants to do this, his career, and I want to do this with my career. It's like, then do both or figure it out. We're going to push your career right now. And then we're going to take a little step back off the pedal and we're going to push your career over here. Or, hey, we're going to balance it. Or we're just going to have a little bit of unbalance right now. But what we're not doing, we're not leaving each other. Why? Because you are special to me. You're not disposable. I can't replace you. There's no one like you. And it is true. And you will find this. You'll go, oh, the grass is not greener on the other side. And what happens is in this situation, when you shift in values, it's like when you don't appreciate and you take those vows out, like I said earlier, what happens is you don't even care about the other person's fulfillment or happiness. Because when you actually do, you're not just thinking about your happiness. You're thinking about, okay, well, what makes them happy? Can we meet in the middle? Can we both walk away with, okay, well, we both didn't get exactly what we wanted, but I'm glad that we're doing it together. I'm glad that I'm at least being heard. And that's the other thing. Most of these relationships that I've seen and that I talk to people who are dating or married are not honest about what they're going through in here. And when you are, then you can come to a place where you can find out, okay, what are our values that this relationship stands on? And don't try to compare them to other people. You need to figure out what that is for you and stick with it. And then number 5, more legal accessibility. Divorce has become more legally accessible and socially acceptable, as we kind of spoke on earlier, than in previous generations. And what that does is when it doesn't cost you guys anything, when it doesn't pain you to go through something, you know what you do? You just throw it away. But if it did cost you, you're like, man, hold up. We gotta talk to our parents about this. And, people, and our friends are gonna be like, what are y'all doing? Like, why are you just throwing each other away? Like, there's nothing out there for you. And you see this so much in society where people are like, yeah, girl, go out there, get your bag, do your thing. And they go out here and they're dating. And they're like, there ain't no good men out there. Well, you had one and you left him because he was boring to you, or you got used to him, or you started making more money than him, and then you didn't appreciate what he was bringing to the table, or vice versa. Or you wanted a newer, younger model, and so you're like, oh, I want this new girl, I want this new fresh girl, but you're like, man, we don't have anything in common. Yeah, I wonder why. These 5 various things is what you have to watch out for when you're talking about dating, first off, and in marriage, because what you do in your dating relationship does not stop in your marriage relationship. It continues. And unfortunately, what people do is they practice this thing where they go, if you don't stop doing that, I'm going to break up with you. Or you know what? Maybe we should still be together. And they do this thing where they literally argue. And the argument is not to resolve a situation. The points that are used is to break apart. Well, if you start that in dating, what do you think happens when you get married? You do the same thing. And all of a sudden you're like, oh, well, maybe we should just file for divorce. Oh, maybe we should just end this right now. Well, then if you do that enough times, what do you think you're training your brain to do? You're training it to leave. You're training it to be disposable. You're training it to exit. And that flight or fleet mode takes over. And before you know it, you're sitting there on the couch, you're sitting there with your friends, and you're divorced. But we know that this is a trending thing, especially in our common modern world right now. And here's the evidence. There's a bunch of women right now, here, and here, that you see regretting, oh, I shouldn't have got a divorce. Oh, I shouldn't have left him. And, oh, I shouldn't have done this. And it's like, well, guys, duh. But they don't know because they've already practiced these habits. We live in a society that is not teaching us to value one another. And because of these 5 things that are being inundated all around us constantly, we start to think that it's like, okay, well, this is just what happens, but there's somebody else out there for me. Oh, I'm going to meet Mr. Right. Oh, the perfect guy. Oh, the perfect girl. If he just did this, if she just did that, oh, I will be happy. But maybe the thing we should be looking for, guys, is we should not be searching for what makes us happy. Maybe, just maybe, we should not be holding on to any of it. Don't hold on to the happiness. Don't hold on to the sadness. Don't hold on to sorrow. Don't hold on to anything. And honestly, when you do this, what you will find is that what you're just trying to do is get momentum. That's what you should be searching for, is how can we just continue to grow? And in that growing process, in that loving process, in that accepting process, accept your partner where they're at. Find a partner who will accept you where you're at. And even if you're already married, this is not your sign to divorce the person you're with because they haven't accepted you. No, you have to have that conversation, and it does not happen overnight. Sometimes it may take years, but the point is so that they accept you where you're at and love you where you're at. It doesn't mean that you're staying where you're at, but you should be growing with them. You should be moving and evolving with your partner. You guys should not be going, well, we're going off and doing our separate things. No, you can still do separate things. You can still have separate interests, but you're staying together. All right, guys, that's it for today. Do me a favor and hit that like and subscribe button, and do yourself a favor and hit the notification bell. I will see you next time, and I cannot wait to see what we get into. Stay in the light.